The Psalms of the Old Testament are such human prayers. They speak right from the heart, and they speak about just the situations that they would face in their own human lives. Psalm 139, King David writes this: "You formed my inmost being. You knit me in my mother's womb. I praise you because I am wonderfully made. Wonderful are your works. My very self you know." I'm Monsignor Walter Nolan. Welcome to the Catholic Corner. Each one of us is very, very special to God. We're made in His image. I always like to say that we're kind of made in the face of God. No two people are exactly alike, though. We are wonderfully made. We're God's sons and God's daughters. My guests today celebrate this idea through a movement called "You Cannot Be Replaced." It's a marvelous title. Love it. You cannot be replaced. College sophomore Emily Dayton and her mom Melissa and her dad Chip. They're all co-founders of You Cannot Be Replaced. This movement, this organization, was born from a lot of pain and tragedies that struck the town of Manasquan, New Jersey. They'll share with us how they found a way to help raise the spirits and spread the love of God to others who are hurting. And they spread it through their movement, You Cannot Be Replaced. Welcome to the Catholic Corner.
Thank you.
Marvelous title.
Thank
You
you
cannot be
very much.
replaced. I wish I knew that when I was a little kid. I would have said to my mother, "You know, Mom, I can't be replaced." I would love to hear what she would say back.
Yeah.
God bless you. Tell me about the organization, You Cannot Be Replaced.
Well, we didn't really intend to start an organization. Our community, our Manasquan High School, we have 7 towns that attend our high school. And when Emily was a freshman, we lost a boy to suicide. Within a couple months, we lost a second. And by the time she was a senior, we had lost 6.
Six
Boys.
youngsters.
6 boys.
Wow.
Yeah, horrible. It was an awful experience for our community. When Emily was a freshman in college last year, we lost 1 more. And Em was profoundly moved by the experience of losing all her classmates. And she wasn't really friends with the boys, but it's a small town, small community, so they all know each other. And she was sitting with us and just saying, you know, I just want to do something. There has to be something we can do. And we really simply just thought we were going to buy wristbands. One of us saw a comment or through our conversation said, Emily, I think, said, you know, I just wish they could realize they can't be replaced. So we thought, well, we'll buy 500 wristbands for the school kids and we'll pass them out and that'll be it. But then a week later we had a donation to order 500 more. And then a week later we had another donation and it just went from there, just spiraled.
Boy. You know, you almost get speechless just listening to what you're saying.
Yeah.
Somehow, I know at times there's pain in people's lives and who knows. But it just seems that if only we can really kind of look in the mirror and see how God sees us, see how people love us, see that we're wonderfully made. And you know, and there's such goodness. There is such goodness, but
Yeah.
there is sometimes pain in people's lives. And so it's a marvelous thing. Can I say this? You're a great kid.
Thank you.
That's an honor when I say kid. So sometimes people, I'm not a kid, but you know what? That's wonderful. God. So you started with some bracelets that you give out. And how did you just hand them out, or did you have a little thought pattern, or did you say, I got bracelets, anybody want one? Or how did you get the theme across?
Well, it was funny because, like you said, we didn't intend to start anything, but after we bought the first 500, we actually had them as blue and gray for the school colors to hand out to the local high school kids. And we figured we'd be done with that and that would be the end of it. But like Melissa said, you know, we got another donation for 500 more, so we have now 1,000. And after that, we decided, wow, now we need a name and we need a website. And then we went to a Facebook page and a Twitter account, and Emily did all the artwork for it. And then we came back, and as of our 1-year anniversary in February, we have over 12,000 wristbands going across the country, being handed out through schools, youth groups, and just individuals.
So this has really taken some hold, and it's not just in Manasquan now. This is now going to because, I know Manasquan, but I don't know Manasquan like you would know Manasquan. But, towns are the same all over.
Yeah.
I mean, moms and dads are the same, kids are the same. They love you, you love them. You want to play soccer, I mean, it's, maybe we nuance it a little bit, but
Basically the same.
we're the same.
We've noticed that the problems in Manasquan, it's such a secular culture that we feel like, God's been removed from the culture. So when you remove God from the culture, you remove being a child of God. You remove that unique and irreplaceable notion that you have value. So we think because it's such a void for the young people, they really attach to it quite quickly. And it's not just our area, it's everywhere.
Sure.
And families feel it too. And it's not that kids aren't loved or kids don't love their parents. We're just very busy trying to attain this worldly success. And we don't have enough time to tell people we appreciate them. So the kids get excited about it because it's an excuse to approach someone, whether you know them or not. But it's the kindness. It's not the wristband that's important. It's the message that came with it. Emily said immediately, these need to be passed. Kind of a watch out for your friend type thing. And then I have a friend that I was taking a class with, and she said when they're passed, they should be passed with an affirmation. And that was the click. That's when we knew, oh, this could really impact people. Yeah.
And that affirmation, we all need to hear it. We have to know that we're loved. I have a little theory in mind. I don't know if it's the best theory, but I always thought that, there were two sides to that affirmation or that love kind of pattern. One is that I can love, and the other is that I can be loved.
Yeah.
And I think we need both of those.
Absolutely.
And sometimes it's just someone saying to you, and it doesn't have to. At least I don't think you have to say "I love you."
No.
Well, that's kind of nice to hear too, isn't it? But I think sometimes it's just nice game.
Yep.
Good job.
Yep.
See you tonight.
Yep.
You want to talk to me? Or can I talk to you? I mean, there's lots of ways that we affirm each other, which is.
Well, even if you don't know them. I mean, we've left them for teenagers in restaurants. We've paid our bill, left a tip, and then left a couple wristbands. And, it's interesting. Sometimes when you approach people, they feel funny and they think, oh, they're trying to sell me something, or it's a strange thing to have something given to you. But they're always moved, right? Don't you think? Yeah.
The community itself, is it healing? It must have been devastating, that period of time you're talking about. And is the community healing now, or is it what effect did it have on the community? All of this, young people taken away from families or friendships and.
I think we
lives.
have a very strong community. We noticed that the need for us wasn't to be an anti-suicide group, because we have a very strong crisis team within our school system. Our first responders are wonderful, our clergy, everyone's very connected and everyone works together. And we saw that especially with Hurricane Sandy when it hit our town. The response was already there because we've lived through so much together. So we have a wonderful community, but we're all still a little nervous, all of us. We don't get a text back from our child right away, and where are you? And everyone responds. We all have a little post-traumatic stress from it, sure.
How did you come to the conclusion, though, that this was not just a good way to help, but maybe the best way to help?
I don't know. We didn't intend it.
That's the $1,000
it.
question.
Yeah.
We just wanted to give back to our community that we knew was struggling. Like I said, we have 8 kids, and we're going to be in this community for a long time. We saw the struggle there. We knew there was something, and as part of a family, and Emily going to the school, and our next son was also going there, we knew that we were always going to be a part of it. So let's leave something for them. And I think that's what differs from other organizations, is that when we go somewhere or when we see somebody, we leave you something tangible, whether it be the wristband or the cards we'll talk about later, so they can take it. And it's not just how you doing and and see you later. It's here's something, now take it on, and they actually take ownership onto it. And I think that's what's really helped us as a foundation move on to help the community.
I was thinking when you said you left the tip and you left some of the, I guess we should leave tips. I don't want to get the wrong impression here. But the tip is whatever it is.
Right.
You spend it, it goes away.
Right.
This just creates the thought and prayer and thinking and whatever else it does,
Absolutely.
And probably there are times when probably someone says, "Where'd you get that? Can you get me one?" And next thing you know, it's an ongoing tip, so to speak.
Yes.
And wow. How'd you come up with that name? I mean, I know I started with the Psalm, you know, of 139, which is a beautiful Psalm, beautiful prayer.
Yeah.
But how did you connect that, either that prayer or the name to this?
Oh, go ahead.
Well, when the weekend that I came home from school after the last boy committed suicide, we were talking, and my mom put a poem of Mother Teresa up about life, and someone commented on it, "You cannot be replaced." And that touched me personally, and it made me realize that, you know, not only did the boys who took their own lives, but everyone cannot be replaced. So taking that, we just bouncing off ideas from one another at the table and stuff, that's how we created the whole organization and the name.
Do you write homilies for Sunday Mass? You know?
She could, if you
That-
need a
that-
break.
yeah, listen, I'm going to call you up later on. And say, but you know, I probably used your idea.
Yeah.
That is terrific. Now the affirmation. Can you give me any example of some of the affirmations that you might have given when you gave out the bracelet? Any thoughts that you might have had? Yes, Chip.
It's, you know, it all depends on the
Spontaneous.
situation and the person,
Yeah.
you know. I mean, just recently, you know, this past Sunday, we were walking out of church and there was this young girl sitting in the pew and she was sitting alone and there was just something about her. She was just sitting there and we walked by and she smiled and one of the guys that is on our team actually was in church with us and said, you know, I think she might need a little help. And Melissa goes, go back and give her the bracelet. So I went back and I took the bracelet off because we always wear a couple on there just in case we see somebody. And I took it off and I gave it to her and I explained, you know, this is our foundation. And I said, you know, I just hope you have a really nice day today. And I said, you know, just check out our organization. And left, and that was it. And then when she left, we were still standing there, and she smiled at us and went on. And who knows, you know, we never do.
Sure.
But a lot of the times, we'll get a lot of feedback on our Twitter or our Facebook page where people come and comment on how things were exchanged and what was said and how they feel. So it's very interactive once the band is passed through our organization.
Mom, you're going to say something?
I usually pass them and just remind them that life is beautiful, or just someone that I appreciate and I thank. A lot of kids like to help us if we have events or we do fun things or we have 1,000 wristbands to tag. You know, they'll come help us. And, you know, I think it's nice to be appreciated too. I think sometimes young people are taken for granted. I think sometimes in church buildings we use them to set up and clean up and that's their service hours. And I think sometimes we forget to thank them and appreciate their time and their effort and their gift of self. When they come to volunteer for something, they're giving a piece of themselves. So I think it's important to
And
thank
the
them.
youngsters today are marvelous. I mean, I say that all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys are all right. Let me tell
Yeah.
you. Now, tell me a little bit. It's not just the three of you, right? Your whole family's involved, and your family's a little larger than just this beautiful
They
young
are
ladies?
involved as much as their age allows them to be. Yeah.
I mean, we have, like I said, we have 8 children, and our oldest is 25, and he has been helping us with the communications aspect of our foundation, where he has set up some constant contacts lists and all the stuff on the website for us, so we can get it out. Our other oldest two boys come to the events. They help. They take pictures. They're photographers. And then we have 2 girls that are 9 and 11 that just like to come and help in any way they can. Sometimes good, sometimes bad. And then
It's all good. It's all good.
It's all
when they
good.
come there, it's great. And then we have 2 little ones that are 3 and 5 that just hang around our feet and play. So besides, you know, having a night where we all sit down and tag, you know, 100 or 200 wristbands, everybody's got their hand in it a little bit.
Now, I understand you're a good little athlete.
Yes.
You're at the University of Dallas,
Yes.
and you play soccer.
I do.
And what do you do on the soccer team?
I am the center back, so I play defense.
Wow.
Yes.
Look at all the sweet little girls that like defenders, you know?
Yeah, we kind of pushed her. She was a little timid as a
Sweet
young
on-
little
sweet
girl,
on the-
so we
sweet
would
on the
take her
inside.
out in the backyard and kind of shoot soccer balls at her.
But
So.
Emily, you received a couple of honors this past year. You were awarded the Southern Collegiate Athletic Conference Weekly Character Award in October for your work with You Cannot Be Replaced. Isn't that great, Mom and Dad?
Oh, we cheered.
Very
Yeah,
proud.
we were very excited.
Just
It actually
Team when
it
you
came
did.
across the college Twitter,
Yeah, I got it on my phone.
so I knew before she did.
Yeah, I didn't
yeah.
know. I got a call from my mom, and she told me.
And you're also named a semifinalist in the Coach Wooden Citizen Cup, which is a national award won by Mia Hamm and Tim Tebow and others. Well, you're in great company. Wow. Tell me about, being a part of this wonderful organization. What do you say? YCNBR? Is that how you say
That's the
that?
acronym, yeah.
Yeah.
That's how we type it because it's long to type.
It's hard to pronounce.
Yeah.
And how it's helped you through tough times and maybe helping you feel like you're really doing something positive in the world at your age.
Well,
How old are you, honey?
I'm 19.
19. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. We didn't have You Cannot Be Replaced while this first suicides happened and
Yeah.
everything. So that was definitely hard on my part. It affected me, and my life, and just took me to reevaluate all of my life choices. And so it taught me to make my decisions not only for the present but for the future. So that definitely helped me through, getting closer with my family and also through prayer. And then once we got the organization, it definitely helped me become, I think, more confident in, more choices and coming out and spreading and promoting what we're trying to do through You Cannot Be Replaced by telling people that they're, irreplaceable and unique and that, they're so special in this world.
And it's helped others. I mean, have others kind of said back to you, some of your own friends, your own people in school, how it's affected them?
They definitely have expressed how they really like the idea and everything and that they would love to help with the organization. And I just recently started a team down at my school, so that's slowly coming together, but hopefully it will bloom into something
Well, you
good.
can almost imagine how this can grow in many ways, I think sometimes even myself thinking back as we're talking when I was, in college and all, just to have somebody to talk to, somebody you can share with, and it just knows that there's a hope, and that's the great thing about faith in God. There's always that great desire that in a sense God calls us to be more, but we can be more because of folks who love us, and we can do things with each other. So I hear you even go around talking and you do assemblies and.
Not right now. The schedule with my school doesn't really allow me to do that right now, but in the future I do plan on speaking.
Chip and I have done a couple assemblies over the last month.
Yeah,
Okay.
we started
So-
over the last 6 weeks, and we've done about 5 of them to high schools and grammar schools. So we're going to hopefully build on that, move on, and then hopefully when Emily's around in the summer, she can come with us and help us out.
So you bring any race board with you or a dry board with you?
Oh,
And-
that's our events.
That's
we have
our-
a big
yeah.
dry erase board
Oh,
for
tell me
our
about
events.
that.
Yeah.
We when we did our first event outside a local restaurant in Manasquan, and we figured that what we'd like to do with the kids, we'd like to engage the kids right away instead of just talking at them. So we decided that we would get 2 pieces of the white erase board and put them together like a
Sandwich
teepee kind of, and it was called the Board of Awesome. So all the kids would come up and they'd be like, "Oh, what's this?" And we'd like, "Write down why you're awesome." And when the first group of kids came, they all sit there and stood and stared at the board. And I looked at them and I'm like, "Just write down why you're awesome." And they couldn't. They didn't know why they were so special or why they were awesome. And both Melissa and I looked at each other and were like, "Wow, let's
They couldn't name
let's
it.
rethink this." So then we were, then they were like, "I'm awesome because I play soccer." I'm like, "Oh, okay, that's good." So they write, So that night we went home and we really talked about how we have to go back to almost like the parents and look at them and say, you love your kids and everything, but are they really telling their kids why they're special or why they're awesome specifically? Like, that was great because, not just, "Oh, you're great because, you did that," but really name the specific, why you were awesome. And let these kids feel special about certain things instead of just being in general. So we started bringing it to all our events, and we have them all sign it. We take pictures of it, then we dry it, we wipe it off, and we do it again. So it's very interesting to see some of the responses on there.
Wow. Now you have some cards you give out, like virtue cards?
We do. We have one for each month, and it kind of came with the Awesome board. They're basically just virtues. So someone who's not in the church might not recognize them. It's kind of language we don't use anymore. So when Chip was saying, we need to name it, we need to give them a word for it. So you can do these character cards by yourself. The kids pick them out of a bucket at our events. And then once a day, they're supposed to do something intentional that they think relates to their virtue for the month. And then after the month, they pass the card to a friend. So everything moves in the organization because as unique and irreplaceable as you are, so are the people next to you. And the human person can't live without the other. So we want them to understand that respect and communication with one another. But when you do this as a family, then the parents have a word. They can say, I think you have self-control. So maybe for dinner, we'll keep the cell phones in a different room. So we'll actually communicate with each other. And that's it. Let's just do one small thing a day, and let's build on it. And hopefully when the month is over, it's something they've adapted and brought into their family. But also teachers can do this as well. So if you catch a child using self-control, especially one who has a hard time with self-control, you can say, oh, I'm so proud of you. You're awesome. You really use self-control there, so that they can start to recognize in themselves the different virtues. So when someone says to them, what are you good at? They can say, I'm patient, or I use self-control. And we can start making it a part of their vocabulary again. So that came from our little awesome board.
See, I'm gonna give you another thought. There's an Irish saint who had a nickname. You don't have nicknames. Oh, my generation had nicknames, but they call him the Coldie. And a Coldie really comes from a Latin word that became a Celtic word, and it really means like a companion of God. And anyway, I started to think about something like that and what you're saying. And I said, what would it be like to maybe for Lent or any time to give yourself a nickname? Now, you don't have to do this out loud, because I don't think you can run around saying, like, hi, Colby, or something like that. But give yourself a nickname, like a virtue. Mm-hmm. And that becomes like Walter, the self-control or something.
Right.
And that becomes your nickname, at least for a little while. But the more you do that, the more you start to live, because that's the idea. You want to live that nickname, so to speak. But you got to do that quietly, because I don't think you want to go giving people nicknames
Well,
like
I
that.
think also the whole point with that is a little self-reflection.
Sure.
I think our kids in the culture, it's so, everything that they're focused on is visible, tangible, what I look like, what I have, what I own. And if we can just get them to do a little bit of interior reflection, then maybe they start to value themselves a little bit more.
At times, I think you talk about finding your passion and how that becomes part of all of this.
Oh, redefining success. Yeah, that was our thing over the summer. We have someone on our team, she's a teacher, fantastic parents, this family, and they have 4 kids, and one of them has a hard time. And I said, what do you think the difference is? And she said, well, my other kids really have a passion. They really know what they're good at, and they have a direction. And the other one still hasn't found it yet. So Em and I started doing a bunch of Googling and started looking at different diagrams and things. And we came up with this model here, which is really just a bunch of overlapping circles of the things you love, the things you do well, the needs of others, and what you can contribute to the world. We kind of feel like when success is what the culture is telling us, so $5 million oceanfront homes, very expensive cars, high salaries, everything we push our kids to, all the activities, the 4.0 grade average, varsity sports, president of the club, and that's one personality, that's one type of person, and a very small percentage of society ever hits that kind of success. So where does that leave the rest of the culture? None of us have made it, right? So if we redefine success as discovering your gifts and talents and using them for others, then we also redefine failure. Then if we're not good at something and it doesn't work, it simply is, maybe you made a bad choice, but maybe it's just not where your gifts are, and it's a chance to redirect.
And isn't it nice to just think about the gifts that God gives us?
Yeah.
Because we all have some gifts.
Yeah,
And
very.
they're the ones that God wants us to kind of grow with.
Sure.
Tell me a little bit about, the Hurricane Sandy and the work you kind of pulled us into.
Yeah, that kind of put You Cannot Be Replaced on hold for a little while. Our town was devastated with the storm, and right after we did a little bit of a coat drive, and the coat drive morphed into a distribution center. And for the last 4 months, Melissa and I have been running a distribution center in Manasquan to help the victims of Sandy. We've taken donations from not only in our community, but outside our community and actually outside our state. Food and cleaning supplies, baby supplies, and everything. Then it kind of morphed into like we were getting used furniture to deliver to people. We were lucky enough to get a grant from the Robin Hood Foundation that we were able to help people with appliances. So we give them money so they could replace some of their appliances. And we brought down Catholic Charities into our building so that they could help in another direction, give them a little financial assistance and also some other guidelines to help them rebuild. So it really took, it was every day for about 3.5 months that we were down there,
So
helping
again, you're seeing the value of the human person, and they're seeing it in themselves.
And that's what it was, we're here for the community, not only for the kids, but our community. And when we had a chance to step in and help a little bit, We used our ministry background and our foundation or organization to help these people try to get their lives back in order. So hopefully we gave them a little bit of hope.
With the
towards
young
end.
people, sometimes do you kind of bring in a little science and let them realize through their DNA or something that they are
Yep,
very
at the
special?
school assemblies. I call our assembly an ADD assembly. We do a lot of different things. Chip plays big games with them. We talk about science. We show them. We use DNA, we use the fingerprint, we give them statistics on how it's not repeatable. It's 1 in every 65 billion, I think, with your thumbprint. The chances that you'll find something remotely similar. We use that, and then we mirror and we compare it to our life experience. And I use a spiral of the life experience to try and get them to see that, you know, the value of what they have at home, whether it's good or bad, that you can take it and learn from it and use it.
You have a quick story for me to kind of say how this has affected the community and where it's going and what your
Quick
hopes
story.
are?
How about the email from the lady in Pennsylvania? She's not from our community, but I think it's a really good one to tell that story about the wristband she was passed.
Oh, we had an older lady, she was about 50 years old, and she was abused as a child, and she was cutting herself with a razor. And a friend passed her a wristband, and she went to go cut herself again, and she looked down and she saw the wristband.
She saved us all.
And she put down the razor.
Oh,
Yeah.
So
more stories, more stories.
Yeah, great story.
We'll have to have another show.
Yeah.
God bless you. Please, join prayer, join the activity, join the community. Just be a part of the great covenant of God, because God loves us very, very much. Bless you. Bless you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Master.
Thank you for having us.
Oh, my
Thank you.
God.
Yeah.
Could have gone up.